Good evening, Jackie. You're in your kitchen. Are you cooking tonight?
Actually, I am, Stacy. Welcome, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jacqueline. I live in Dallas, and I absolutely love emceeing the Wine and Dine on Wednesday nights. In case you haven't caught the show before, I just have so much fun. But this evening, I'm actually going to MC. I'm going to host, and I'm cooking. So y'all got all three. Good luck for me with that. But thank you. I want to thank Stacy so much for helping. She's taking care of all the buttons. But if you haven't joined us before, please know that we do this every Wednesday, and it is a phenomenal night. It's a fun night. We have cooks from all over the country, many times some from around the globe, and we come together and we share our wonderful wines from Wine Ambassador. And as you know, we call this the Wine Discovery Club because, quite honestly, in the US, we lost 2 decades of wine knowledge because of the prohibition. And I don't know if you realize that or not. So when our founders started this, they really wanted to have a value add with great wines that can be delivered to your door. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But they also wanted to bring the wine culture back into this country. And quite honestly, they have done just that. So please sit back. If this is the first time that you've ever been here, I hope you have fun. I hope you learn a little bit. And always be sure to get back with the person that brought you here because they know how to get you involved. But before we get started, every week, we always start out with the toast. And I have the great honor this evening to introduce both of our co-owners. One is the CEO and his beautiful wife is our compliance officer, and that would be Mr. Rory Rickard and Miss Tanya Rickard. So Rory and Tanya, take it away, please.
All right, babe, you got your glass there?
Got my glass.
All right, so you guys, we're just doing some final touches. Everything is ready to go for our Napa Vineyard event, our Harvest 2022 event. It's going to be just a lot of fun. I just agreed on the dinner time where we're going to get served up our incredible catering. The food's going to match the wine, so I almost don't want to give it away. It's going to be incredible. Okay. We got the acoustic music lined up. We've got some really fun activities and such that's going to be going on. And, you know, you guys, we get to do our awards for our top 20 and such like that. And it's going to be some unique twists this year. It's a celebration of this, but, you know, this toast yesterday marked 6 years of us on a wine venture, 6 years when we decided to start marketing the Wine of the Month Club. And, you know, I'm looking at the listing here and the family members that have been here this entire time. So this is to you. This is to building legacy. We love you. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Rory. Tanya, would you like to add anything to that, my dear?
Well, I just think this is the funnest club ever, you guys. This is a fun night of the week. I look forward to Wednesday nights. I look forward to being a part of this family here, and super excited to have you hosting, Jackie.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to get started. And so the way that this is going to work this evening is I am going to be doing the appetizer. I have one of our wonderful Wine Ambassador members is going to be doing the dinner, the main course, and that is Monique Smith. And then we're going to round that out with another one of our wonderful Grand Crew members, Miss Linda Horn, and she is going to finish us out with the dessert. So let me just talk a little bit about what, you know, it's hotter than Hades in Texas. So I don't know where y'all are in the country, but you can hardly even go outside. So for about the last couple of months, I actually have been cooking what I call cool, no cook food. And so whenever that we decide, they asked me to do this evening, I decided to do a little twist. Okay. And so what I am going to prepare for you is avocado boats. And basically what we have here is I have 4 avocados. They are all pared and ready to go. We're going to seed them. You leave the skin on, And then once we pit them, we're just gonna scoop a little bit out to kind of make like a little boat, okay? And I chose, you can really stuff this with anything, but given the climate here, I chose to use a Mediterranean style salad, okay, with a little bit of an Italian twist because I am full-blooded Italian and I'm sorry, you gotta have that, right? So I have for you Kalamata olives and Queen Anne olives chopped. I have the cucumbers already chopped. I have the tomatoes chopped. I have some fresh garlic ready to go. I have red onion. I have shallots. And then I have 2 types of feta cheese, a little bit of lemon, and then all of your spices, you know, your regular garlic powder, onion powder, dill seed, just lots of things that you have in your kitchen. But it is really easy and it makes a beautiful presentation. So I am going to pass this on to Monique. She is, oh, and by the way, I am carrying this, and this is really a little bit, this was a little stretch, okay, because avocados are very hard to pare, all right? But I did my research and I found that a Sauvignon Blanc would really cut through the avocado, meaning the thickness and the butteriness of that. So I chose one of our product lines, which is More Than Muse, and I chose the Sauvignon Blanc, and this is actually a 2016 vintage. So it's going to pair, I hope, very nicely with this dish. So now I'm going to pass it on to Monique.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely, sweetheart. Welcome, and thank you so much for cooking this evening.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed doing this. So I chose to do homemade sloppy joes tonight. We all love the classic manwich, right? But it's really not that healthy. So years and years ago, my kids were little, I looked at recipes and played with them a while until I found one that my family liked. And so yeah, the sauce is really simple. And I like to do this in the morning usually, so that way this sauce has time to kind of blend together and just, it tastes so much better. I mean, it's great either way, but it tastes amazing when it has some time to kind of blend together and sit for a while. But it's 1 bell pepper, a 1/3 cup to a 1/2 cup of onion, 2 teaspoons minced garlic, except I usually do more than that. 2.5 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, 2.5 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce.
How do you say that? How do you say that?
Worcestershire.
I love it. I don't think anybody in the world knows how to say that sauce, but it's good. You go, girl.
I practiced all day. That's the best you're gonna get.
You did awesome, sweetheart.
And then it's 3/4 teaspoon of liquid smoke, a teaspoon of paprika, and a tablespoon of chili powder, 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and 1 cup of ketchup. So what I do is, if I'm in a pinch, I'll start the hamburger, let it cook while I make the sauce. And then while that's all ready, I hate soggy buns. I cannot stand soggy buns. So I make like a garlic bread with the buns, and then I'm going to toast them once I put the sauce in to let it kind of thicken and blend with the meat. And yeah, and tonight I am pairing it with Pinot Noir, the Discovery's Pinot Noir, which is this one's a 2017.
That is going to pair fabulous with that tomato sauce. And I'm so proud to know that you made your homemade sauce and didn't just pour something out of the can. That sounds delicious, sweetheart.
Well, and this one's really good with ground buffalo too, actually. I've tried it like that, and it's, I don't know, we'll have to call them sloppy bills or something different, but it goes really good with buffalo meat as well.
Bison, baby, sloppy bison. I love it. I love it. We just got a new dish. Well, thank you. We'll be back to you. We're going to go ahead and pass it on to my dear friend, Miss Linda Horn. Talk to me, sister. You're impressive.
Hang on a minute. Oh, I'm unmuted already, right?
Yep, you are. Go for it.
Yeah, holy monkey me here. I thought I was muted. Okay, so these are so simple. When you think of Texas sheet cake, to me, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of cardboardy. The icing on it, it just reminds me of like a cake brownie, but not as moist as a cake brownie. When I put these together, this is like soup. The batter is super runny, but I will tell you that the reason these are so rich looking is because I only buy the darkest of dark chocolate cocoa. So, and this one is actually 1012, so it's black. It's called black cocoa powder. I bulk everything. I don't shop at the store when it comes to my products for baking. I like bulk. I buy the bulk chocolate to melt because there's no paraffin in it. I can add my own. These little babes here can actually, you can make a cake pop with them because it's so super moist. Let me show you what I'm talking about. They're like cakey. So they're super moist. I probably didn't leave them in as long as what it called for, but because Linda doesn't use a timer, we do the touch test. But anyway, mixed all the things together. You have to do the cooking as the recipe is there. Jackie's got my link, but you've got to use your stove and put your use buttermilk. I don't keep buttermilk because I don't use it very often. So what I do is I buy the can of, and I put it in the freezer, and I just use what I need when I need it. And that's just to add it to water. So I just heat the water up and add the whatever buttermilk it is that I need, and then I've got it for whatever recipe I have. Like I said, I just don't use it a whole lot. But a lot of breads and things call for buttermilk, so I just have that in case I need it. So I did all this. I did the flour and the sugar and everything in my plastic KitchenAid and just mixed it up, that and the baking soda. And then I did the wet ingredients, the water, the cocoa, and everything on, and the butter on, there's a lot of butter in this, on the stove. There was like a pound in the cake. And then there's a half a pound in the drizzle. So a lot of butter. But anyway, did that on the stove, bring it to a boil, and then you just pour it even hot right into your flour mixture. Mix it up a little bit. Like I said, I just put this on pulse. I didn't, just a little bit, because you don't want to overdo batter because it'll make it tougher. Cookies makes it tougher. Cakes the same. So anyway, did that. And then back in the day, those of you that are on Facebook saw my grandma picture. Well, my grandma picture is who I get all this stuff from. She was a baker. She's the one that taught me how to bake. But she had all these, and I laughed because, Pampered Chef has the big ones that are lined. They're got the coating and everything on them. Well, I'm old school, but I have many of those, and so I just used those. I did spray them because I wasn't going to line each one of them. I think that it just depends on what you're having. If you want lined tins, then that's fine. But I think all I have is Christmas ones. But anyway, that's extra paper. That's extra things to throw away. So I'm quick and simple.
What do you spray them with, Linda? Is it a certain thing like?
Spray.
There we go. Okay.
Whatever kind you use. I usually buy the least amount that I have to spend because it's spray.
Well, nowadays you can find, and you don't realize, there's olive oil and coconut oil and
yeah,
all
there is.
Yeah,
There's many. I like canola. I like to use canola, but if I cook, I've been using avocado oil.
And it's fabulous, and it keeps you fuller longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds delicious. What are you pairing this with, Linda?
I am pairing with Ricard Malo. Hello. I will tell you, all of those that know me know that Linda goes through her Ricard pretty fast. I did well. I saved the bottle back, and it was killing me, just saying. But because I had ordered extra as well. But anyway, I did bring it out, and I do have it, and I will show you the end results when you're ready for me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sweetheart. We'll be back to you in a bit.
Okay.
Before we continue on, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit. My hands are absolutely filthy, but that's okay. I'm in the kitchen cooking. So if I'm doing this, you know why. Let's talk a little bit about the club for those of you who have never been here before. It is a fabulous wine club. All of our wines come from Napa and Sonoma. And guys, these are fine wines. These wines are cultivated naturally. There is no speed up of the process. When you buy store-bought wine, and this is what I'm talking about, the generations of wine education that we lost today, all the big conglomerates are looking at the bottom line dollar, right? So they mass produce wines and they actually follow a recipe. That's why if you buy a wine in the store today or next year, or the year after that, and it's the same wine, that wine is going to taste the same because they follow a recipe. They put all kind of artificial preservatives and tannins and all those things, quite honestly, just like when you go buy box stuff out of the store, that's what you're getting in these wines. So it's really, we like to call it a wine beverage, or perhaps even Rory sometimes calls it a wine punch. It's really not a wine that's cultivated with care or in a natural process. Our wines are not bottled. And by the way, they are private label bottles just for members. But our wines are not bottled until they are ready. We have a committee, Rory and Tanya, Peter Antonio and Adele Antonio, as well as Brett. And they are all owners or that have stakes in this company. Guys, they fly out to Napa and Sonoma every 90 days to test the wines to see what is ready. In addition to that, and Rory will tell you, I'm going to ask him to speak to this in a minute, but we have wines that are out like 2 or 3 years that they are watching so that they know that when they become due, they will have those bottled and shipped. Another thing is they have taken out all the middle work. We have a vineyard. From that vineyard, it goes to the winemakers. And by the way, our winemakers are 3-4 generation. They are wonderful at what they do at their craft. And it goes directly from them, if I'm not mistaken, and I may miss a step, but it goes directly to the bottling area and then out to your door. We handle all the logistics, all the customer support and everything. So you are getting $100 to $150 bottle of wine at very low cost. And let me tell you something, they are fabulous. There's a couple of ways to get involved with us. Many of us that are on this call tonight and on this, not just hosting or cooking, we do this as a business, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Wine has been around for so many years, 7,000, 8,000 years. It's not going anywhere. And if you know anything about Italy or Spain or Germany, they grew up and still do. Wine is part of their culture. It is a food. It is to be enjoyed. And so that is what Wine Ambassadors' vision is to bring just a little bit of what we lost during Prohibition back to our members and tell the world what good vintages we have. So Rory or Tanya, are you available to talk a little bit more about that? And Rory, you might want to hit on the event again, honey.
Hold on one sec. I'm translating.
Hold on one sec. That's fine. He was busy. He was really busy. I was just going to give him an opportunity to talk a minute, but if he's not available, we can move on and maybe we can catch him during part of the presentations.
Yeah, he's not here, but I think you covered it well, Jackie. You said exactly right. It comes right from the grower. They take it right to our winemakers. And then once it's ready, and it goes right to the bottling plant, right to our shipping and right to you guys. So you said exactly that. Yeah. And there's been many times. And a little thing to know too, is that like Rory and Peter and I, we have developed our taste with wine for several years. Wine is you really have to really develop your palate, and we have done so. I've been drinking wine since before it was legal. And yeah, it was a
Girl from my own heart, baby.
so yeah, I mean, it's just, if you grew up, like Jackie is full-blooded Italian, I'm only half, but it was expected. It's part of our tradition. So we were given it quite early. And yeah, so we just have developed our palate along the way. And we've also had a lot of wine education. So it's been a passion of ours. So yeah, our wine, I think, is amazing. Once you try it, you will understand fine wine is just anyway, you did it great. Go ahead, Jackie.
Okay, this is the final product. I'm gonna try to do this without messing anything up. Can y'all see that, Stacy?
Yep, bring it up just a little bit. Closer to you. Go
I'm
closer to
trying.
you. There we go.
Okay, guys, this is the finished product of the avocado boats. And like I said, you can really stuff this with anything, but I chose a Mediterranean dish with this is a little pinch of Italian. But these are going to be fabulous. And I'm going to take a bite and we're going to pair and see how it goes with that Sauvignon Blanc.
And Jackie, I just posted in the chat the link to your amazing, sensational avocado boats so that everyone can quickly click on that by opening up the chat. You can click on that little hot link and it will take you right to Jackie's page for that recipe.
Okay, I'm just going to dig into this. And it's probably going to be a little messy, but you know, that's all right. So I'm just going to and see, I really like that you leave the skin on because it holds the avocado in there. It holds the shape of it. It actually makes a beautiful for the table. So I'm going to, oh my goodness, I did good.
Oh, sorry.
Y'all. Oh, holy God. I got that. That's finger licking. I mean, that's good.
There you go. Shake it.
Oh my. I was expecting, because Sauvignon Blanc is known for its kind of grassy taste. This is bringing out more of the fruit and the acidity of this. I'm kind of tasting a little bit of maybe honeysuckle or peach. It is delicious. Please check out the recipe, and I hope you enjoy it as much as we're going to enjoy eating it tonight, because I could assure you we're going to devour it in about 10 minutes. So let's move on to so you got to get me a towel, man. I mean, I'm always sorry. She's my sous chef this evening, and she's doing a fabulous job. Thank you, Sue Felcher. So with that, let's go on to Monique and how she's coming with those wonderful homemade sloppy joes with the Worcestershire sauce.
Hey, I did my best. So I just toasted the buns. See if you can see this. I lightly toasted them to save time. I usually do it a little bit longer, but I'm hungry and we're on a time limit here. So I'm also going to show you the pot. You see that okay?
Oh my,
amazing.
that's heavenly.
Oh man, I am so excited. This is one of my favorite meals. So I'm going to go ahead and plate it and then give it just a minute so I don't burn my mouth off.
That is a gourmet homemade sloppy joe, I may add. That is not your store-bought canned whatever. And you said you cook bison, buffalo?
I have used ground bison with it before. Holy moly, it is so good.
I bet
So
that's
you really-
delicious too.
You really want to let the sauce cook with the meat about 5 to 10 minutes so it thickens up and so that the meat, grabs onto the flavors and everything. And let me show you before I put the bun on. Oh, did I get that right?
Yes,
There we go.
ma'am. Perfect.
And it is hot, so I'm gonna let it cool for just a second. Do this real quick.
All right, while you're doing that, I have just put your recipe into the chat that everyone can just click on that little hot link.
And I'm gonna
It's
grab a
probably-
napkin because I know better.
Well, you have that word sloppy in the recipe.
Yeah, and I threw my hair back because I know better. All right, here we go, guys. This is not gonna be the prettiest thing on the wine and dine, but it's gonna be worth it.
Hey, it's not good unless it's dripping down your arms, man. That's what we say in the city of New Orleans. When you bite into it, it's got to drip. And that looks like it's dripping pretty good, sister.
I did it right.
It looks
Yeah.
delicious.
Oh, it's so good. You guys have to try this. All right, and again, I am using the Pinot Noir.
I think that's a very good choice, and I think it's going to pair well, sweetie.
I hope so. I know so, actually. Oh, man. It actually makes the wine a little bit sweeter, believe it or not. I don't know if it's the brown sugar or the vegetables or I don't know, but it's awesome.
That's wonderful. Tanya, what do you think about that pairing, ma'am?
I think it's a great pairing. What do you, it's amazing to me. I think you really have to try things to really figure out what works. But yeah, definitely looks good to me. Pinot Noir is such a versatile varietal that it just goes with everything, I think. But
Great. Yeah, I have, like I said, I have used the Grenache to pair with this before, and that was, oh man, so good. But I think I like it better with the Pinot Noir. I hate to say that, but
Pinot Noir
then
would,
again, I don't.
would definitely be my choice. I love it. So yeah, it looks delicious, Monique.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Monique.
Thank
Stand
you for
by.
having
We're gonna round this out with Linda, and then we're gonna call it an evening. So, where's my girl from Ohio?
Over here, over here. Okay, so now Linda does what she can do to
Man.
keep things pretty, right? I really could use some mint leaves. Didn't have any mint leaves, so I just put the green lime in the middle. And I got some fresh peaches from my mama yesterday. So I just sliced those and put them, and I just covered it with just sprinkled some powdered sugar on it. I think also what you can do with these cakes is the cake pops. You can mold these. You can squeeze them and mold them, and then go ahead and do as I do. Don't go to the store and buy your chocolate. Hold that thought. You're gonna go. Oh, take a look at.
Man, she's got the big guns out. She got the KitchenAid going on. That's serious. When you bring out.
Oh, I got two of them.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so what I do is I go to the Amish store and I buy bulk everything. So I've got some dark chocolate in there somewhere, but you can even use the white chocolate, put it in your double boiler, melt it, put a little bit of paraffin in, not a whole lot, just enough to set it up, and make some cake pops.
Wow.
Versatile. Put your little sprinkles on there if you got children, whatever. So yeah, these are super simple. So you want me to try?
They look delicious, honey. They really do. And fresh peaches this time of year are phenomenal. We've had a couple of cooks that where they live, they have, farms and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the crops in Ohio this year were bad. They said that they were really struggling with peaches, with pears. The apple crops might even be bad because of the big weather it's been. But Mom was able to get these, they're called Big Smiles, and they're so sweet. And she cans, not me, I freeze. So she gave me a dozen to freeze, and I'll freeze them so we have them for peach pie or something in the wintertime. That's what I do. So that, the reason that I chose the Merlot is very simple. It's dark chocolate. So
We all know the Merlot goes fabulous with dark chocolate, baby.
Rory wasn't just kidding. No. That makes the cocoa like cocoa. Yeah. Crazy cocoa.
Wow.
It takes the sweetness out, right? So, when I was making these, I thought, oh Lord, they're gonna be so sweet, not paired with the Merlot. That definitely takes that sweetness out and brings out that cocoa big time. And
That is Linda, that's a beautiful dish. I believe Stacy has probably by now posted your dish.
Oh, yes,
in the
ma'am.
chat. And so we now have all 3 recipes for you available, and please check them out, guys. You know, the purpose of the Wine and Dine, and Tanya was the creator. She was the one that was the brainchild behind this. And we really wanted to bring education, and what better way than to cook and pair it with your wine. Now, if you come from where I come from, you pick the wine and then you go figure out what the hell you're gonna cook, okay? So, and I have a feeling that's what Linda Horn did. She did not say that to me today, but when she told me that she was doing the rest, she chose that wine and then she figured out what she was gonna cook. But regardless, you know, have fun with it. There are, you know, some etiquette rules around pairing wines and doing wines and all that. Let me help you out. Drink what you like,
Absolutely.
but if you taste one of our wines and then you go buy that, I'm just gonna say wine punch in the grocery store, I can assure you, you will tell a difference. Oh, and I forgot this too. Oh, one more thing. You ain't gonna get no headache, baby. You ain't getting no headache in the morning. We call it the wine flu where I come from. You ain't getting that with this wine because these wines are cultivated properly.
Absolutely.
So with that, has Mr. Rory resurfaced, or am I gonna close this out without?
You're closing it, darling. Go on. You're doing fabulous.
Well, I am so glad you all joined us this evening. You know, we love to do it. I would cook every single week, but obviously I don't need to be doing that. We have a lot of people that are wonderful cooks, better cooks than I. And but I do enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little bit about the wines. For those of you who are new here, get back with the person that invited you here. They know the ins and outs of how our wine club works. We know it works. We love it. So just join us. We're all family. And hey, sis, Miss Tanya, I see you in a couple of weeks in Napa.
I know.
Bye for now.
Bye, guys.